From KGW, this is The Good Stuff.
I'm excited to have our people come in and feel safe and feel welcome.
A new family shelter in Clackamas County celebrated its grand opening a week ago today. The goal is to address a regional gap in shelter services for Native American families. Thank you for joining us here on The Good Stuff. I'm Christine Pitawanich. The new family shelter opened in collaboration with the Metro Housing Department and Clackamas County. Our Daisy Caballero has a look at the first of its kind program.
This is truly just breaking of the cycle and paying it forward.
You're hearing the sound of community in Clackamas County as the Native American Youth and Family Center, also known as NAYA, celebrates the opening of its shelter for Indigenous people.
Auntie's Place will be a place where Native families will come for housing support when they need it the most.
This was all made possible thanks to the nearly $2 million in funding from both the county and the Metro Housing Program, which will now be able to house 8 families experiencing homelessness, making it the first shelter program of its kind geared towards serving Native peoples in the Tri-County region.
I'm excited to have our people come in and feel safe and feel welcome and feel at home and feel loved.
Aside from a safe place to stay, including their own room and kitchenette, all families will also receive services to support a successful transition to housing, like helping find a job and guidance on applying for an apartment, as Native Americans today experience the second highest rate of homelessness in the U.S. That's according to the National League of Cities.
Coming from being homeless, I'm going to be helping them trying to get reorganized in the family structure as we know it as Native peoples. A lot of that kind of falls to the wayside when the home structure kind of falls apart.
Auntie's House will host Native American culture activities to foster a sense of community, healing, and belonging among residents and helping them in their new journey moving forward.
All the staff have lived experience as well, so we are just here to help the people in any way possible.
Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
NAYA says it's hoping to serve at least 56 families with children each and every year. So along the same lines, the largest affordable housing project built using money from Portland's housing bond also opened last week. The Hazel apartment complex at Southeast 30th and Powell is named in honor of the first Chinese-American woman to fly for the U.S. military. There are 206 total units, all from studios to 3-bedroom apartments. People living in 30 of the units will also get help with housing services as they transition out of homelessness. So June may be over, and while Pride Month is officially recognized in June, celebrations definitely not done. Because in Portland, the main celebration held at the waterfront is a little over 2 weeks out. There's been a lot of celebrating, though, so far. Throughout June, people across the state celebrated. On Saturday, the city of Tigard partnered up with the Tigard-Tualatin School District for its Pride Festival. Then on Sunday, a celebration was held in Beaverton. Both events started with a parade and ended with a festival featuring music, local vendors, food, drinks, plus activities and support groups. The goal at each event to uplift every LGBTQ plus person.
It's so important just to recognize that everybody has a right to love whoever they want. Be here for and support in every way we can, build a community, make sure that.
Also, as part of our Pride Month Breaking Barriers series, we are looking back at the life of Dr. Alan Hart. He's thought to be the first person documented in the United States to undergo gender-affirming surgery. Researchers uncovered his story and his ties to the Pacific Northwest in the 1970s after his death. Stephanie Domerat has his story.
Dr. Alan Hart was born a woman. Born in Kansas in 1890, his parents named him Alberta Lucille Hart. He was considered to be a masculine child and identified more as a boy than a girl. the early 1900s, he and his mother moved to Albany, Oregon, where he graduated from Albany College. From there, Hart enrolled in the Oregon Medical School, now known as OHSU. During medical school, Hart realized his attraction to women wasn't normal, and Hart sought help from a professor and doctor, and eventually asked for surgery to perform a full hysterectomy. After the procedure, Hart cut his hair short and started dressing in masculine clothing, completing the transition to a man. The performing doctor wrote of him, saying, quote, "She had made her exit as a female and started as a male with a new lease on life and ambitions worthy of her high degree of intellect." Hart had become one of the first people in the country to undergo a hysterectomy and live out the remainder of their life as another gender. Hart and his then wife lived in several states, moving towns every time someone called Hart's gender into question. Hart moved back to Oregon after a divorce in the mid-1920s. In the late 1920s, Hart studied radiology. Then in the 40s, studied public health. He went on to serve as a national leader in the field of tuberculosis treatment and research. After World War II, when synthetic male hormones became more widely available, Hart used them to grow facial hair and deepen his voice. Hart continued to dedicate his professional life to tuberculosis research until July of 1962, when he died of heart failure. After his wife died years later, she left their estate to the Oregon Medical Research Facility in Hart's memory. A compilation of Hart's college writings and an overview of what is known about his life can be found online in the Lewis and Clark College Special Collections.
That was Stephanie Domerat reporting. You can watch more of our Breaking Barriers series right now on our YouTube channel playlist. You can also watch them on our website. All you have to do is head to kgw.com/breakingbarriers. If you're looking for something fun to do tonight, the 88th annual St. Paul Rodeo kicked off today, and it's going through Saturday. Nightly performances start at 7:30 with other events happening throughout the day. Fireworks are set for about 10:15 each night. There's one matinee performance, though, happening at 1:30 for the 4th of July holiday on Thursday. You can find more information at stpaulrodeo.com. Still to come on the good stuff, the Olympic track and field trials in Eugene have wrapped up. They did so over the weekend, and now some local athletes are on their way to Paris. We'll recap the exhilarating final day at Hayward Field after the break. Welcome back. If you can believe it, we are 25 days away from the Paris Olympics. And now that the track and field trials have wrapped up in Eugene, we have a better idea of the athletes that'll be competing. Orlando Sanchez was in Eugene over the weekend for the final days of competition.
On the last race, on the last night, history at Hayward Field. Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni delivered a world record-breaking performance in the 400-meter hurdles with a time of 50.65 seconds. It's the 5th time in 3 years the Olympic gold medalist has set the world record.
Just shock, honestly shock. I know when it first came up it said 50.67 and I was like, there's just no way, 0.01. I think we're in a great spot, I really do. It's coming up fast, but I know that this is a big confidence boost and also going to help us know what we have to fix heading into Paris.
In the women's 100-meter hurdles, former Oregon Duck Alacia Johnson ran her personal best 12.31 seconds, winning silver. Johnson is an Olympian, and it's even sweeter to qualify at Hayward Field.
It meant a lot, obviously, because I graduated from here undergrad, so it's like full circle moment for me. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew I was ready to make this team, and I knew nothing or nobody was gonna come in between me making this team, so I feel fulfilled, and I'm ready for like my journey to unfold.
From one former Duck to another, down the home stretch of the women's 1,500 meters, Nikki Hiltz had another gear, setting the meet record in a time of 3 minutes 55.33 seconds, securing her bid to the Olympics.
Some cosmic force of all the love and like people watching from home and in the fans, like, or the stands, I don't know, like I just felt it, and I felt like someone pushed me forward, and it was awesome.
Ridgefield's Trey Knight finished 9th in the hammer throw. And while it didn't go as planned, it was still the experience of a lifetime.
Having like my whole town of Ridgefield, friends and family here supporting me, like even though it wasn't the result I wanted, like I still can't be happier. More proud to be a spotter.
It's a bittersweet day for Vancouver's Kara Winger. The Skyview High grad finished 2nd in the javelin, but her best throw of 206 feet 6 inches was so close. She was 3.5 feet short of the Olympic standard and returning to her 5th Olympics.
Riding off into the sunset feels different this time because I satisfied my curiosity. Either way, I needed to figure out, like, could I do this one more time or can't I?
Winger came out of retirement to give it one more shot. At 38, she was able to find closure in a sport she poured everything into, while inspiring others at the same time.
So many girls told me I had an injury and I stopped throwing, but now I'm throwing again because you came out and tried. And that means the world to me.
There's still plenty to look forward to. Winger smiled and said now she'll be able to attend her 20-year high school reunion.
Orlando Sanchez reporting there. And hey, another local track and field star headed to Paris is North Medford grad and Oregon Duck Jada Ross. She finished 3rd in the shot put on Saturday. Ross said Hayward Field was the perfect place to make her Olympic dream come true.
Just saying I'm an Olympian is just like mind-blowing to me. I mean, it's everything I've ever wanted. You know, when I was super young, one of my ways of manifesting and visualizing, when I started to learn how to write my signature when I was younger, I would write USA under it, because all I wanted to be was an Olympian.
Wow, what a way to manifest that. So cool. And hey, over in Minneapolis, U.S. athletes competed in the gymnastics trials. Joining the team in Paris are a pair of athletes with ties to Oregon and Washington. Vancouver's Jordan Childs came into Sunday's competition in 2nd place and had fans kind of worried when she slipped on the balance beam. But she shrugged that off with a really strong floor routine, giving the selection committee no choice but to send her off to Paris. Oregon State's Jade Carey won the gold after nailing her floor routine back in Tokyo. The 24-year-old will get to defend that title after a stellar performance on the floor Sunday night. Both women were on the team that finished 2nd in Tokyo, and now they're determined to turn that silver into gold in Paris. Good luck to the both of them. We are rooting for the two of you. Okay, it's officially summer, right? And to mark the occasion, our Matt Safino joined a group who rang in the summer solstice on Mount Hood. Stay with us. You really don't want to miss the amazing views. Summer kicked off nearly 2 weeks ago, and many of us here in the Pacific Northwest gearing up for some scorching hot days this week, right? But a group of active souls welcomed in the summer season in a much cooler fashion high up on Mount Hood. Matt Zaffino joined in on the party.
Well, I did, and it was quite the scene, quite the party. But before we go there, I want to explain a little bit what's happening that defines the beginning of summer cosmically. And by that, I mean in space with our planet. So it's not the fact that we're closer to the sun at the beginning of summer. In fact, we're actually farther away from the sun at this time of the year than we are in January when Earth makes its closest approach to the sun. It's all about this, the axis of the Earth, and the fact that it's not straight up and down. It's actually tilted on its axis, the Earth, 23.5 degrees. And so at the beginning of summer, we are pointed more directly at the sun. And that equates to longer days and getting more heat because we're getting those sun's rays more directly. In fact, in Portland, we end up with almost 7 hours more daylight now than we do at the beginning of winter. The word itself is interesting too. Solstice, deriving from the Latin sol, meaning sun, sister, mean to stand still, because the time of sunrise and sunset changes very, very slowly around the solstices. But again, it's all about the tilt of the Earth being pointed more directly at the sun. That provides us more heat and more light. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a group of people that celebrate the beginning of the season high up on Mount Hood at a very, very special location. So let's check that one out. I traveled up there myself. Super interesting. Right about there, place called Illumination Rock and the Illumination Saddle. Let's get out there and check it out. There's our goal over there above Samuel's head to the saddle of Illumination Rock. There's already a bunch of people up there. Our plan is to join them at the annual summer solstice party at Illumination Saddle high on Mount Hood. Well, just as soon as 10-year-old Samuel finishes his sandwich, Samuel, his dad Mike, and I set out from Timberline Lodge in the last hours of spring. Guys, how long till solstice?
20 minutes, I think.
We made a rising traverse toward Illumination Saddle, which sits on the west side of Mount Hood at roughly 9,500 feet elevation. The season changed to summer during our trek. 3, 2, 1, solstice! Happy solstice!
Happy solstice!
Woo!
High five.
Sandwich finally finished. We ski on, and soon we join the crowd of skiers and snowboarders who have journeyed above the chairlifts to celebrate the transition from spring to summer. Nick, known on the mountain as Dull Blades, is one of them.
And it's a blessing to see so many people use their feet to get up here, have a good time. It's a big gathering of people to share the stoke for the mountain and for the mountain community.
During these first few hours of summer, Illumination Saddle transforms into the highest community on Mount Hood, a couple of hundred people strong. Does it take some work to get here, man? You gotta earn it. What do you think inspires people to do that?
I think on the surface, everybody's looking for a good time. But afterwards, I think it changes people's mind about the mountain and what's possible and where you can go and what kind of fun you can have.
And everyone is having a lot of fun. Skiers arrive early to build jumps known as kickers. We take a break as acrobatics fly behind us. This is free skiing in its purest form, in style and in cost, by free spirits who seamlessly transfer their passion for winter sports into the summer season. The freedom to ski or snowboard on your own terms is part of the draw, even if it borders on chaos at times.
Okay, man.
The party goes on all afternoon. Most will stay for summer's first sunset, and a few set up camp and spend the night.
You guys stay as high as you can.
We start skiing down before that. Samuel's ready for his next sandwich. It's a spectacular place to be and ski who you are on a spectacular, now summer, day. In a region with a reputation for rain, summer solstice means just a little bit more.
Oh, that is so cool. Matt there with the story. Okay, next, a pretty cool story of its own. We're bringing you a storm of corgis, the special takeover that happened in Seaside over the weekend when we return. Check this out. It was a special moment during a summer camp in Boring. The nonprofit Guide Dogs for the Blind invited blind and visually impaired students to a free 5-day camp last week. On top of all the fun, unique activities, campers got to experience working with a guide dog and connecting with other visually impaired youth. After learning some basic commands, they went on a walk with a guide dog too. So cool. And it was all about the corgis at the coast, with the dogs taking over part of the beach in Seaside Saturday. Look at those cute faces. This was part of a fundraiser for the Oregon Humane Society in partnership with the Portland Corgi Meetup Group. The Humane Society says nearly 800 corgis hit the beach. Some came from as far away as Montana and Michigan, and they were such cutie pies. I love it. Hey, that's all the time we've got for the good stuff tonight. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Before we go, we're leaving you with this shot from our Timberline Skycam. Gorgeous summer evening up there with all that blue sky. Enjoy the rest of tonight's beautiful weather. See you tomorrow.